Good wishes to all of you. Milestones in the development of ethical thought. The milestones in the development of modern ethical thought are shown below. For sake of simplicity, we have given a compressed list. 1200 BCE to about 800 BCE. Philosophical school, periods of the four Vedas. Central doctrines is the roots of Hindu ethical ideas can be traced to the Vedas. The Vedas are divided into three sections, that is the mantras, the Brahmanas and Upanishads. The mantras or hymns are found in four collections or samhitas: Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. Three themes in Rigveda, the oldest samhita, are nature worship, the concept of cosmic order and details of religious practices. Samaveda is a summary of Rigveda in musical form. Yajurveda contains the liturgy or mantras for undertaking the Vedic ceremonies. The Atharva Veda speaks more about yoga, the human physiology, different elements, social structure, spirituality, appreciation of natural beauty, and so on. 800 BCE to 600 BCE, the period of Upanishads. In Upanishads, the highest ethical purpose of man is seen as quest for self knowledge. It is another aspect of the search for ultimate reality. 599 BCE to 527 BCE, Mahavira, according to tradition. The two religions arose in opposition to the and 563 BCE to 483 BCE, Gautama Buddha, according to tradition, Buddhism and Jainism period. The two religions arose in opposition to the ritualism, formalism, and caste divisions of Hinduism. They opposed animal sacrifices, preached nonviolence, and the need to contain human passions and cultivate serenity. 5th to 4th century BCE, period of Ramayana. Essence of morality is conveyed in Ramayana through the noble character of Rama. Ramayana covers individual, social, and kingly morality. 540 to 300 BCE, period of Mahabharata. The Mahabharata discusses personal virtues and royal virtues. It also discusses statecraft diplomacy and contains the first account of just war concept. 5th century to 2nd century BC, Bhagavad Gita. It is the most important Hindu religious text. It preaches that one should work sincerely without worrying about its likely outcome. It emphasizes the centrality of dharma to human actions. Its central theme is disinterested action. Being around 481 BC, Sophism. Sophists are the first to deny the existence of universal objective moral standards. This view, called moral relativism, argues that morality depends on conditions in particular societies, on historical circumstances, and on intellectual attitudes. 472 399 BC, Socrates, one of the greatest ethical philosophers who not only discussed moral theories and concepts but also followed them in his life. He is famous for the view that knowledge is virtue. His ideas are contained in the dialogues which Plato wrote. 428 to 348 BC, Plato, author of the Socratic dialogues such as the Apology and the Republic, great idealist philosopher who denied the reality of the world of senses, considered reality too consists of eternal and unchanging forms, known more as a philosopher and a political thinker than a moralist, identified fortitude, justice, prudence, and temperance as cardinal virtues which underlie all human virtues. 384 to 322 BC, Aristotle, first academic philosopher who wrote systematically on ethics, author of Nicomachean Ethics, first writer who discussed virtue ethics, regarded virtue as a mean between two extreme qualities. 345 BCE to 300 BCE, Kautilya's Arthashastra. It is probably the first treatise on statecraft, administration, war, diplomacy, and state regulation of economy. 323 BC, birth of Zeno, founder of Stoicism, Stoics. Their morals are characterized by strict asceticism and severe austerity. Stoicism was popular also during Roman times. 341 BC, birth of Epicurus. Epicureans, they advocate happiness as the goal of life. Happiness does not imply craving for momentary pleasures. Happiness is something that has to be pursued rationally over one's whole life. 354 to 430 AD. Saint Augustine, a great Christian theologian and moral thinker, mentioned along with St. Thomas Aquinas, author of the City of God, was influenced by Plato. 1223 to 1274 Anno Domini. Saint Thomas Aquinas, great Catholic philosopher and author of Summa Theologica, was greatly influenced by Aristotle. 1596 to 1650 Anno Domini. Descartes, founder of modern philosophy, his chief interest was in metaphysics, followed Stoicism. 1588 to 1679 Anno Domini, 1592 to 1655 Anno Domini. Hobbes, Gassendi, materialist thinkers, followed Epicureanism. Hobbes thought that men are egoistic and hungry for power. 16th century Anno Domini, Guru Nanak. Nanak founded Sikhism, which preached monotheism and human brotherhood. 1671 to 1713, Shaftesbury. 1694 to 1746, Hutcheson. 1711 to 76, David Hume. 1723 to 1719, Adam Smith. Moral sense, a school of sentimentalism. Morality is grounded in moral sentiments or emotions. They are the basis of moral judgments. These thinkers opposed Hobbes. Their moral outlook emphasized the social and the more rational side of human nature. 1614 to 87, 1692 to 1752, 1723 to 91. Henry Moray, Joseph Butler, Richard Price. Intuitive school. The school emphasizes that human beings intuitively perceive right and wrong. It also appealed to human common sense. In metaphysics, intuitionalism holds that moral statements can be known to be true or false immediately through a kind of rational intuition. In these judgments, local thought plays no part. Similar views were held in the 20th century by H. A. Pritchard, G. E. Murray, and David Ross. 1748 to 1832, Bentham. 1806 to 73, John Stuart Mill. Utilitarianism. These writers highlighted the fact that the good is that which is beneficial to society or that which promotes human happiness. They defined ethical end as the greatest happiness of the greatest number. Utilitarianism is a dominant school of morality even today. 1724 to 1804 Kant, 1836 to 82 T.H. Green. Rationalist morality. According to Kant, morality consists in following the command of duty or obligation or what one ought to do. This approach to moral is called deontology. There is no place for emotions or sentiments in morality since these are irrational. Kant was imprisoned by the notion of moral law. In a famous passage, he says, two things have always filled me with awe, the starry heavens above and the moral law within me. Green regarded that the end of human life should be moral perfection. 19th century period of Hindu religious reformism. The famous reformers, to name a few, are Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananda, and Raja Rammohan Roy. 20th century G. E. Murray, Sir David Ross, A.C. Iyer, C.L. Stevenson, R.M. Hare, John Rawls. 20th century thinkers elaborated critically and evaluated utilitarianism, especially act utilitarianism and rule utilitarianism. They have also analyzed deontological ethics in detail. During this period, philosophers also developed meta-ethics or analytical ethics, which focuses not on formulating moral systems or standards, but on analyzing the concepts or terms which are used in ethics. Modern philosophers generally refrain from preaching morals. They think that the task of philosophy is to clarify concepts and not to advocate morals. 20th century Gandhi needs no introduction. It should be noted that historians and scholars are divided about the exact time of composition and the relative time sequence of Vedic and other Hindu treatises. Further, Vedas, Upanishads, Mahabharata, and Ramayana have been composed over long periods. The ancient Hindu writers did not mention exact historical times of composition. As a result, historians came up with different chronologies of events in ancient Indian history. Hence, readers may come across somewhat different timelines for ancient period than those given in the table. We discuss some of these thinkers and their ideas later in the text. Our intention at this stage is to show very broadly the main historical lines of development in ethics. The overview of ethics and the broad sweep of its historical development given above will provide useful background to students in their study of the subject. Thank you.